as she walks.
You should clean your nose too. I
Her
think
nose is good.
your nose.
Which one is it?
There's boogers, whatever.
I need to trim my nose hairs. Is it good now?
Yeah,
She's pooping.
nice view.
Hey guys, another beautiful hot day out. We're walking Lily. And I figured it'd be a good time right now to review August or July's top 10 most used Pokemon in Pro. We're also going to go over some Pokemon that are on the rise and some that are on the fall. At number 10, we have Fable at 15.9%. Fable is full fairy, so it has really good typing. It's a great support. Also, the ability with Unaware is pretty unmatchable in Pro. The best way to deal with it is just straight up steal moves, or if you can try to out PP stall it, stuff like that. Number 9, we have Scizor at 16.5%. Scizor has priority steal move, which makes it strong against a lot of other meta Pokemon such as Togekiss and of course Fable. It does lack against fire moves, and it has that's pretty much its biggest weakness. Number 8 is Togekiss at about 19.3%. Togekiss is probably one of the most frustrating Pokemon to deal with, especially in the Pro meta, thanks to Serene Grace and Air Slash. It's just gonna flinch you to death, and with a Choice Scarf, and if it's not Choice Scarfed, Bold or Calm makes it a great support type Pokemon just because it's so tanky and it has access to Heal Bell, Roost, Thunder Wave, stuff like that to support your team. At number 7, we have Gengar at 20.3% usage. Gengar is just really versatile. It's a fast Pokemon, it is squishy, but it has access to moves like Taunt to help counter against Stall, and Destiny Bond to take out one more Pokemon with it before it kicks the bin. Oh, the best thing to counter Gengar is just Pursuit Trap it. If it can't kill you, then just bring in like a Tyranitar or a Scizor and Pursuit Trap it. Number 6, we have Kunkel Door at 21.8%. Kunkel Door is another Pokemon that is just so hard to deal with. It hits like a truck, and Facade, if you can't dodge Fighting or the Facade move, it's going to almost guarantee to hit KO something. So the best way to counter it is just to kind of chip it down or prevent it from using things like Drain Punch or Facade. So Ghost Pokemon, you have to be careful though, it does run knockoff oftentimes, so sometimes the best way to deal with Kunkel Door is just to mind game your opponent. Sometimes it's 50-50 and that's the way Pokemon works. Number 5, we have Azumarill, 22.5%. Azumarill is always a threat after it can get a belly drum off, but a lot of people will use it with Choice Band because it still hits like a truck thanks to huge power. So the best way to deal with it is grass Pokemon that can survive an Aqua Jet that are faster than Azumarill, or just use something tanky like Rodham Wash, or Roserade is also another great counter as well because it resists all of Azumarill's stabs. Number 4, we have Dragonite at 24.7%. Dragonite is probably one of the best Dragon Dancers in Pro Meta thanks to multi-scale. It can come in, tank a hit, or if it gets in free, it can get off a free Dragon Dance and then probably just sweep with like extreme speed. And after that, it just outrages everything. Dragonite is also pretty good in rain teams, which probably also inflates its numbers, so a lot of times people will run Rash or mild Dragonite in rain teams. Number 3, we have Rodham Wash at 26.7%. Rodham Wash, ever since it was introduced about a year ago, has been a force to be reckoned with in Pro. It can kind of do everything. It's the best pivot you can have with Volt Switch, outside of Zapdos that just came in. Also with Timid, it can do a lot of damage with Choice Scarf combined with Trick. Great ways to deal with Garchomp are grass type Pokemon, or just keep chipping it away. Use something if you know it's going to come in. Don't be afraid to just attack it, because it really lacks recovery moves outside of Pain Split and Leftovers. And number 2, we have Garchomp at 27.7%. Garchomp is probably one of the most popular and sought after Pokemon in Pro. You'll see it in trade chat a lot. It can be used primarily as Impish, to use with Stealth Rocks, and Rocky Helmet gets off a lot of damage for free against physical Pokemon, specifically Kunkel Door, Scizor. It can also be Jolly with Swords Dance. It can one-hit KO a lot of Pokemon out there in the Pro meta after a Swords Dance. To deal with it, you're just going to have to use something that's faster than it with an Ice move, or bring out something defensive yourself that it can't touch. Rodham Wash is a good Pokemon because of that, and that's why Rodham Wash is also right up there.
Wait, Rodham Wash good against Garchomp?
It can be.
After a Swords Dance?
Not after a Swords Dance. Not after a Swords Dance. And coming in at number 1, the most used Pokemon in Pro PvP is Ferrothorn, just edging out Garchomp at 27.8%. Ferrothorn is a great, just versatile overall tank for your teams. It deals with rain teams very well if you run Sassy. If you run Relax, it kind of does the same thing as Garchomp. It chips down Pokemon that are very physical. It can also bring up rocks or spikes. It can Leech Seed, it can Protect, it can Gyro Ball, faster things, it can Power Whip. It covers a lot of things, and that's why people really like it. To deal with Garchomp, just bring out Fire Pokemon. You can Taunt it, or you can bring out Grass Pokemon so it can't Leech Seed against you. Something that can use like a Fire move as well, so that's why you'll see people with HP Fire Superiors. Superior is probably not on this list because it's very rare to get, and it needs HP Fire to deal with Ferrothorn. So Ferrothorn is your most used Pokemon in Pro PvP as of August. So check back in next month for this same list. Now we're going to cover over some Pokemon that are on the rise and some that are on the fall. Alright, so let's go over some 3 Pokemon that are on the rise. It's kind of tough to tell from the statistics. You can see a lot of skewed data sometimes. So I picked out the 3 that I think are going to be really impactful in this month's meta. First off, it is the patch of Zapdos this month. Zapdos was just released and is an extremely popular OU Pokemon on Showdown, and therefore it's just going to be popular in Pro. It counters a lot of the top Pokemon that we covered today, such as it can tank fighting moves from Kunkel Door. It can kind of pretty much wall Togekiss. Hawlucha, which we'll talk about later. And it can also kind of deal with Garchomp if you are running HP Ice. So Zapdos is also really great in the stall meta. And we're going to kind of talk about how stall is becoming a little bit more popular now because of the introduction of Zapdos, which can utilize pressure to win a lot of stall battles. The second Pokemon I want to talk about on the rise is, as we just mentioned from Belzebel, Hawlucha. So Hawlucha Unburden was just fixed and therefore unbanned in Pro PvP. Hawlucha is probably one of the best Pokemon to use with Unburden. Pro has also made the decision to code gems, which is unique to Pro specifically. So you'll see Hawlucha's running Flying Gem a lot. You can kind of do your own research on that, but Flying Gem is really strong for Hawlucha because it kind of opens up a space for it to use acrobatics efficiently instead of Sky Attack with a white herb or anything like that. Not a white herb, but a power herb, or whatever the herb is for Sky Attack. So you don't need that anymore, you can just run Flying Gem. And so Hawlucha is on the rise. It went from 0.3% last month all the way up to 1.8%. It kind of stood out because it's a 600+% increase. A third Pokemon that I want to point out is Kabutops. Kabutops is a really strong physical rain sweeper. It just went from 1.6% usage all the way up to 3.3% usage. It might not seem like a lot, but it is interesting because we have seen Kingdra and Manaphy drop off a little bit this past month, and Kabutops rising up. That could be attributed to rain teams trying to deal with the increased amount of Chanseys. Chanseys are increased because a lot of Zapdos are out there. So there could be a small reasoning. That could be a reasoning why we see an increase in Kabutops. So you might be able to see Kabutops. You can deal with Kabutops as long as you change out the weather. They're really weak to priority moves as well, specifically fighting. So if you've got a Kunkel Door and you get rid of the rain, or you stall out the rain with a Ferrothorn, you can deal with Kabutops pretty easily. Now you can kind of see why Ferrothorn and Kunkel Door are so far up there. Alright, so let's go over some 3 Pokemon that are on the fall. The first one I want to point out is Togekiss. Yes, Togekiss is still in the top 10, but this month it just dropped from about 23.4% rating down to 19.3%. So it dropped almost 4%, and I believe that has a lot to do with Zapdos being introduced. A lot of people also are trying to find creative ways to deal with Togekiss because it is so annoying. So
Says the Togekiss user.
Yeah, I use Togekiss a lot, but it's good. So I don't expect Togekiss to kind of just drop out of the meta, at least not anytime soon. So it has great stats. It can we covered that in the top 10. So, but Togekiss is declining, and I don't expect it to be gone. But it was a pretty notable drop, especially it was the farthest dropped from the top 10. Number 2, I've already kind of pointed out with the Kabutops, but Kingdra has dropped about 1% in usage. It went from 9.2% down to 8.2%, and I think that has a lot to do with the amount of Chanseys coming around. So yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. Manaphy has also dropped, so I think they're kind of replacing their Kingdra or Manaphy's with Kabutops. Alright, and for the last Pokemon that I want to point out that is on the fall is Alakazam. A lot of you who are experienced at PvP might be surprised by this. Alakazam is actually a very strong Pokemon in the OU meta on Showdown, mainly because Mega Alakazam is good, but also normal Alakazam with Magic Guard is really strong with Life Orb. But ever since April, Alakazam in April was 5.1% usage, and it has been dropping every month since. And I expect it to, especially with the introduction of Alolan Muck. I think a lot of people are going to be playing Alolan Muck, maybe not because it's necessarily good, but because it's new and they want to try it out, and that's going to really hinder Alakazam. So I don't see Alakazam falling out, but it is declining with its usage right now in Pro. But if you have a great Alakazam, I do recommend still playing with it. It's going to do a lot of things for your team, and I don't have any better suggestion other than that. So I hope you guys like this little video. I'm going to try to do this every month, and yeah. Alright guys, if you liked this video and you want to see more of it, I actually highly recommend you join the Discord that we're going to link down below. IDCup and Glogs do this as a community project, so these numbers aren't exact, they aren't pulled from Pro. They're actually a community effort. What you can do is you can go to their Discord and scroll down to Ranked Battles Collection. I believe that's the name. It'll be up there. But you just take a screenshot of your opponent and their team, and then you paste that image into that channel. iCup created a really great bot that will read that person's team and tell you back that it's been recorded. If there's any errors, just tag iCup or blogs and they'll go ahead and fix it. But if you see them in game, you know, shoot them a message, say thank you, maybe throw them a couple like 5K or something as a thank you for aggregating this type of data. But better yet, they probably would rather you just contribute to it. So go out there, PvP, take a screenshot of your opponent's team, post it into that, post it in there, and you're good to go. Thanks.